Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are waking up to some groundbreaking news. Newcastle's bid for Šeško has been rejected by RB Leipzig. And what is the elephant in the room? What is the root cause with Newcastle? What on earth is going on at the football club? We're going to sort of dissect that with a very exclusive information. Guys, we're going to dive right into the details for you that are waking up. Good morning to you. We're going to talk about the Benjamin Šeško, the man of the hour, as Manchester United are progressing in pole position to sign Benjamin Šeško. Do me a massive favor. Do not forget to do what exactly? And that is exactly what you should do on this day of recording, which is Sunday, the 3rd of August. Guys, this is Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV coming to you live, exclusive. Actually, it's not live, it's pre-recorded as I'm about to jump on a flight to fly. Guys, let's kick on the show and send this transfer bullet. Send it, Mick.
And Garnacho!
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Will you be in the dugout at Old Trafford on Sunday? I will be here. Definitely.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go, people. This is the transfer window where anything can happen. There's about 3 weeks left of the window. And yesterday was a little bit of a meltdown. I did one video yesterday to say false news. And as things started to progress within the 24 hours, it's been a mad window. I kept my composure, cool and composed to say this is not true. Of course, we saw that Newcastle did the kitchen door, kind of back door, with a late bid coming in late Friday to sort of put in a speculative bid that meets the overall evaluation from RB Leipzig for the player, the man himself there, Benjamin Šeško, which is a total package of 80 million, which means 70 million plus 10 add-ons. But there was a problem. That is a genuine problem, and there's a lot of tier 2 journalists to come out to say that he's chosen, Newcastle and Manchester United is out of the race. I simply did one video and I called it "That is bullshit." That's not correct. But however, on my Twitter timeline, I did I think I did about 3 posts to remain cool and composed. I stood my ground, and later on, David Ornstein came out to confirm the same as well. Fabrizio Romano didn't say much either. Ben Jacobs was also saying a little bit what I was saying. And lo and behold, within a few hours, the brilliant David Ornstein, the beacon of transfer, comes out to confirm that Newcastle United have been rejected for the bid of Benjamin Šeško, an outright 80 million that been put on the proposal. Let's dive right into this news, and also going to address what is the elephant in the news with Newcastle. What on earth is going on? Let's do this cool and composed. Let's do this. Let's go right into the main story as of we're seeing today. Let's add this to the stage, Mick. Let's go. Well, of course, within 2 hours ago, David Ornstein broke it. Newcastle 80 million speculative bid for Benjamin Šeško has been rejected, as confirmed by David Ornstein. Now here comes the twist. RB Leipzig dismissed the offer. It fell short of the internal valuation, as Newcastle never secured the green light from the player himself, which was kind of a part, if you understand, the big club gentleman's agreement, priced at 70 million euros plus 10 add-ons. This was, in my opinion, and my sources and information, that's what I composed my cool and composed stance yesterday. This was an attempt from Newcastle to preempt Manchester United before even speaking to the player himself. It is transfer harakiri. It's a desperate move, knowing that Manchester United are in advanced talks. Manchester United are in pole position with a brilliant relationship with Christopher Vell, that used to be the recruitment director at RBL Group, that kind of has the excellent relationship with Benjamin Šeško. If you don't know, Vell was kind of the one that discovered Šeško back in 2018 when he came from Dunsud, recruited him into RB Leipzig Group or Salzburg, and then put him on the trajectory to RBL where he is today. Now, Manchester United remain in advanced talks, 100% with Šeško agents and RBL as we speak. Over the deals and structure, personal terms is not a problem. It's led to believe, by my information, it's going to be 5 plus 1 year contract. A formal bid is now a matter of time. Expect Newcastle now to pivot towards Yoane Wissa from Brentford, as Brentford has indicated that the door is now open for them to come in and bid. So I got really much pelters yesterday, and I do understand. And some people were really nasty, and I don't mind. You know, you're saying you're waffling too much. You know, who are you? X, Y, Z. Well, excuse me, I just been in this industry for 10 years. And if you know me, you know my channel. I try to provide as close shave factual information as possible by getting the information from the agency camp, by verifying, by doing multiple checks with tier 1 journalists. And I just don't put it out there just because of clicks. I try to be as accurate as possible rather than being first. And it doesn't really matter to be first, because at the end of the day, the name of the game ain't matter. It ain't matter. Because at the end of the day, Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein will just come in. It's like you running the 400-meter relay. You pass on the final 100 meters relay, you pass on the stick, and David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano will run it to the finish line with a "here we go." And that is exactly what's going on. So haters can be haters, right? Just a piece of advice, you know, never let fear and emotions clog your judgment. And be a little bit more patient, because I stood my ground, what I said yesterday on Twitter timeline, and I stood my ground by only posting one video yesterday. And if you remember, I did that fake news, and I absolutely came out to explain the entire situation. Now, it's very interesting that this has gone sideways for Newcastle, and it's normal. It is normal, because they never felt confident in a certain way. They never had the green light. They never had the proper conversations with Elvis Bosanovic, the agent of Benjamin Šeško. Normally in a transfer window, you get the green light first to agree the personal terms, and the player says yes to you, and then you go and negotiate with RBL. This didn't happen. Their strategy was to go straight to the horse's mouth, to the club itself, to put a speculative bid. They didn't do proper research in this case. They just throw the bid in late this Friday, and they caught everyone with surprise, and that was confirmed early Saturday morning. And that bid has now been rejected. Why? Well, they just simply wanted to get a sort of to come in before Manchester United, as per my understanding and per my sources and information, to put the bid there, to make them relevant, and hope that Manchester United will cave, knowing that Manchester United potentially don't have finances. But that is actually not true. Manchester United do have finances for a very important striker, and that is why they've been sitting and negotiating the striker targets, knowing that the money is there due to they've done deals on amortization. There's always been a report that Manchester United have 120 million pounds to spend before even sales, and they've been quite successful in that department, doing smart deals in amortization for Cunha, for Mbeumo, leaving that they only spent about approximately 30 million on the first year of installments for both Cunha and Mbeumo. That means that they still have roughly about 90 million to spend on a striker. And that deal, as we speak, is now being ironed out with RB Leipzig to do that in installments, potentially including Rasmus Højlund as a loan deal with an option to buy next year. Why? It's widely reported, even from Sky Germany as well, to say that, yes, even Fabrizio Romano said, yes, it is the dream striker target for RBL, Rasmus Højlund. But the question is, will he go? Will he be willing to go to RBL? Yes, he has a contract with Manchester United, but if the club is telling the player, you need to go on loan, he has to go on loan. Another thing is that if Manchester United tells him you are a surplus for requirement, you will be sold, right? So if Manchester United can do a deal on a permanent deal as part of negotiations to offer, Rasmus Højlund 40 million and pay 20 million for Šeško, that is definitely a sort of win-win situation for both clubs. It's yet to be seen. Manchester United are in constant dialogue. There is some reports saying that Rasmus Højlund doesn't want to go. But on the other hand, if Manchester United offers a loan, which is beneficial for RB Leipzig, that means that they need to replace Benjamin Šeško with a striker. Barring that the window is very short, this is a favorable term for both Manchester United and RBL. we get Šeško over to Manchester United. They get Rasmus Højlund on a seasonal loan. Plus, they pay a little bit of a loan fee with an option or obligation to buy next season. Depends how things go. So let me know your thoughts and feelings regarding that structure deal. But also, Manchester United do not need, according to what I've been hearing as well, do not need to loan out or sell Rasmus Højlund as part of the deal. The initial plan is actually to keep and retain Rasmus Højlund, to play him against Benjamin Šeško for competition of places, to have them as a rotating striker, as Xerxes is not seen as number 9. And also Chido Obi Martin to be the third striker to come in to get games here and then in FA Cup and Carabao Cup and all that stuff. Remember that Manchester United is only playing 1 game per week this season, minus the domestic cups. So Manchester United will be fully rested, have a full fit squad, and an attacking force with abundance of goals, including Mbeumo, including Cunha, including adding on potentially a Šeško with Bruno behind, and also Amad Diallo. There's going to be a massive team to be frightened about. So I'm excited about that. But let's just dive in to the elephant in the room. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings regarding that one, because this was being reported just 2 hours ago for David Ornstein, and I'm adding on my twist to the story. Now, what is going on? What is the elephant in the room at Newcastle? What nobody is really talking about. Newcastle are struggling this season to retain players. And why is everyone rejecting them? They missed out on every single target. Of course, they got Ramsdale on the loan. Of course, the goalkeeper, I believe they even signed Antonio Langa from Nottingham Forest, and that's about it. But what in earth is going on with Newcastle? I'm going to dive right into this exclusive story that I did on Twitter timeline, just to break it down a bit for you guys, just to give you a little bit of a content, what in earth is going on with Newcastle. Now, if you are a Newcastle fan tuning in, I would love to hear, because as a footballing fan, I feel sorry for you guys, because we, Manchester United, we've been run poor by the Glazer family and the poor finances. But at the current stage where you are heading at, not being able to retain Isak, not being able to offer him a competitive contract extension, there is a reason why. And this is what we're going to dive into. Excuse me. I'm just going to have a drink on my coffee. And we are definitely going to address the elephant in the room. What is going on at Newcastle? This is breaking, coming out exclusive from Mick Ruby, my Twitter report that came out today. The article, the elephant in the room at Newcastle United. Newcastle struggling to sign and retain players. That is what's going on. And if you're a Newcastle supporter watching this video, I want to hear from you. Leave your comments. If you think that I'm right or wrong, I'm open for your suggestion. But let's remove this and let's add this to the stage. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's going on. So bear with me, okay? This might take a few minutes, but this is as close shave as possible. So this is a breaking exclusive adding on to the rejection of Šeško. So let's address the elephant in the room. Why Newcastle are struggling to sign and retain players, and why nobody is really talking about it, by yours truly, Mick Ruby. So let's continue. What's going on? Number one. Let's start with number one. And I'm going to zoom in on this one. Let us zoom in. Let's zoom in. Bear with me. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just simply single-handedly trying to sort of give you the rundown and update. I hope you can see this properly. Number one. After Dan Ashworth left Newcastle, Manchester United appointed him. Newcastle appointed Paul Mitchell, who only lasted then a year. He was appointed in July last year. He left in this May 2025 due to health issues or mutual consent. But the truth involves some major clashes with the current manager, Eddie Howe, over short and long-term transfer strategies. So Mitchell was reunited with the CEO, Darren Eales, who brought him in from Spurs in 2014. But Eales is now also stepping down to chronic blood cancer diagnosis and health issues, and no longer operating as a hands-on. So now you can sort of see the disarray, what's going on the top management side of Newcastle, and why they're kind of missing out on all these targets. As it stands, Mark my words. Number 3, as it stands today, Newcastle have no sporting director in place. The role is temporarily handled by the technical director, Sudarshan Gopaldeshkian. If I slaughter his name, I apologize. Let me repeat. Sudarshan Gopaldeshkian. He was appointed only last month in July 2025 to handle the recruitment. He's a technical director with no clue of actually being anything which comes to recruitment. A technical director sets the path between how the team is going to play between the academy and the first team, similar what Wilcox, but he has no experience being a sporting director. There's no clear leadership or vision guiding them throughout this transfer window. So they've been basically fumbling in the dark. People. They have no senior leadership. Eddie Howe has a lot of powers. He clashed with Paul Mitchell. There was no clear strategy vision. The CEO is not hands-on due to health issues, and here we are. So what is the result? The result is there, people. The result, Newcastle have missed every major target and can't even offer Isak a competitive new deal. And Liverpool have turned his head. We're talking about Alexander Isak, with a record £120 million Premier League bid. It's a record bid, which Newcastle rejected. They rejected it. It's a record bid which could actually save the club and give them a lot of money. As per Liverpool offered them 60 million up front this year and 60 million next year. And it was point blank rejected with a stubbornness to say we will only open up the door if we find a replacement for Isak, right? Despite lacking replacement. So desperately they've been fumbling in the dark trying to find a solution. This also now number 5 in this article or this tweet also explains the speculative 80 million euro bid for Benjamin Šeško that was rejected. That was made without the player approval or proper due diligence. Read the room. That is the elephant in the room. They simply wanted to beat Manchester United to the race. They didn't have proper conversation, or they didn't have the proper, connections with RBL Group or the Šeško's camp as well. Sure, they spoke to Šeško's camp to understand the structure of the deal, what is the player's, salary ambitions. But at the end of the day, if they struggle to offer Alexander Isak 300k a week, how on earth are they going to offer a competitive Šeško, knowing in the background, in the dressing room, a lot of other players are simply going to ask for pay increase. And also you can understand what's going on with Tonali as well. They didn't do a proper due diligence when they actually recruited Tonali, which left them a year without the player due to the sports fixing allegations. And that is shambolics in my eyes. So I do feel sorry for you, Newcastle, but I am providing you factual truth, right? Point number 5 is that it also explains the speculative 80 million bid for Benjamin Šeško, made without players' approval or proper due diligence. The bid was rejected, straight blank no from Leipzig, and Manchester United remain in the pole position as we speak to sign him. So point number 6 in summary, Newcastle summer has been a mess, not from a lack of ambition, but from a lack of structure. The internal issues are pushing players away, and fans, Newcastle fans, I feel sorry, you deserve answer. The club needs direction, and that is fast. Now, I feel sorry for you. Of course, we see now the reports that Newcastle are now pivoting away. Even Craig Hope, the credible journalist that reports about Newcastle, has been saying that, they fear that Manchester United will win this bid, and that's why they are pivoting away more for Yoane Wissa and potentially going for Ollie Watkins, right? So news came out yesterday that, Brentford are now opening up the door to listen for bids for Yoane Wissa, which is probably going to be around 30 to 35 to 40 million pounds. And that is, in my opinion, something that Newcastle should focus on, something that is more easy and attainable to secure, rather to go into this battle with Šeško that will never about to happen. Why? Because in transfer windows, you never do what they've done. I think it's a clever strategy that instead of sort of agreeing with personal terms with the player first by going straight into the club to throw in a speculative bid and hope that that bid would stick, right? And put yourself first as an advantage in a pole position over Manchester United. So you hope that Manchester United will back down. But no, Manchester United, as explained, do have funds, and they are willing to go all in for Benjamin Šeško. They've already done all the reviews, the financials, everything. Once Manchester United set their mind up, they're going for the target. We got Lenny Euro over the line over Real Madrid. So why do you think that Newcastle will win this battle over Manchester United? Why do you think that Benjamin Šeško will pick Newcastle over the big club Manchester United? Put yourself in Benjamin Šeško's shoes as well to say, after you've done all this due diligence on the club, as a player and agent, you have absolutely done your due diligence to understand why is Isak leaving? Why are they not landing all the targets? What is the financial constraints with the club? Why are they in Champions League, in and out? Well, arguably Manchester United being the same, but they are looking at Manchester United as a complete rejuvenation project with the stadium, with everything else. The vision has been sold to Benjamin Šeško. Personal term is not a problem. Benjamin Šeško looks at joining a big team. And if you do remember, even Fabrizio Romano was saying this, there is a gentleman's agreement between Šeško, RBL, to say if Benjamin Šeško comes, there's a big club, that price will be 60 million plus approximately 10 add-ons, leading to 70 million euros, not 80. Now, of course, Newcastle was never part of this list, and Newcastle never got the green light because it has to come from Benjamin Šeško telling RB Leipzig, okay, Manchester United are part of that list. I want Manchester United, and therefore that gentleman's agreement is, per my understanding, that special big club clause then is activated. That is why Newcastle got blank no, rejected what they thought was the overall evaluation price. But if they want to continue bidding more, they can do that, of course. RBL would just string them along and ask him for 90 million, right? Would you do that? That is sheer desperation. Or would you just go away and say, well, we never got the green light from the player. Let's just pretend, let's just kid ourselves, walk away and go for Wissa. Let's start talking regarding Ollie Watkins. And let's just line up a striker just in case Liverpool will come in with a 150 million bid, which they said they won't do. So this is kind of a little bit of a triangle drama going on, which I'm absolutely laughing about. This is classic, right? So Liverpool fans are looking at what's going on with the Šeško situation and wish that Newcastle is landing Šeško. We've seen a lot of trolling accounts on Twitter. Even I saw a Twitter that Jurgen Klopp has been instrumental to say to Benjamin Šeško to pick Newcastle. And that is music, that is kind of salted tears from Liverpool fans, who, by the way, had a brilliant transfer window, but they are definitely getting giddy here because everything depends on if Newcastle finds a proper replacement, then they will release Alexander Isak to them. And so far, they said blank no. We will not entertain this. We will try to retain him until we get a replacement, and then we can talk. Potentially, they will accept this 120 million bid, but they have said blank no. So that is the triangle drama, what's going on. And Manchester United is aware of that. They are aware of that. They're cool and composed. And we're going to dive into what Fabrizio Romano had to say just right now. He also dropped a tweet, which is very interesting. In the last hour, Fabrizio Romano has tweeted. I like this. Fabrizio Romano says, Benjamin Šeško, in the last hour, just now, Benjamin Šeško agent arrived in Leipzig ahead of key moments of final decision over the club. Now, guys, we remember that Benjamin Šeško didn't play the preseason friendly, and neither did Javi Simons either. That is an indication that a deal is imminent, right? They don't want to risk them because if they do get injured, there would be no sale, right? With Newcastle bids been rejected, with Newcastle not even slightly have an agreement with the player, everything else that was reported from Slovenia and the Tier 2, it's all bullshit. I'm sorry, the language, it's all bullshit. And as I say, I'm trying to provide you as logical, chronological, factual information as possible, as close-shaped as possible. So if you have the courage to come on my Twitter timeline to call me a waffler or a clown that I don't know anything, think twice. Okay, think twice. I'm not having a dig at you, but I'm just finding it very, very funny. Fabrizio Romano continues to say that Manchester United told RB Leipzig again on Saturday, an official bid will follow. Here we go. An official bid follow after Newcastle's won. If, and this is Fabrizio Romano always spinning the plates, building up the crescendo, if Šeško opens the door for the move. We know already that he's opened the move. We know already, Fabrizio, that he didn't play in yesterday's game. So this is Fabrizio Romano playing his famous build-up crescendo to here we go, in my opinion. But as per usual, I want to hear your thoughts and feelings regarding this, right? The dots are aligning. The dots are aligning. Now, yesterday, Fabrizio Romano didn't even come out to confirm. The only thing that Fabrizio Romano said was that, pay attention. Šeško is not part of the game tomorrow, or today. Actually, that was tomorrow. And neither is Xavi Simons. And I've also been saying that Xavi Simons' deal in this is very instrumental, right? We know for a fact that Leipzig, RBL Group, they needed to raise 100 million. Because they missed out on Champions League. They looked at 2 assets they could sell. And so far as, if you've gone in my timeline, in my videos past, it was when Arsenal came in, that was the only 2 assets they could sell. There was Xavi Simons and there was Šeško. But if you go back to Arsenal's negotiations, at that time, the Xavi Simons was not advanced. At that time, RBL was demanding 80 million because that was as close as they could get to reach the 100 million mark because they were in a little bit of financial trouble. But now we saw that Andrea Berta pivoted away, gaslighted them, pivoted away and went for Gyökeres instead. And now Chelsea are in a very advanced talks to sign Xavi Simons for 70 million as well. So they are kind of getting a little bit more relaxed and lenient in terms of accepting what Manchester United has to offer, if you understand the logic behind it. Because if they need to raise 100 million, if they can get 70 million for 70, 80 million from Chelsea or Xavi Simons, that means that they are more lenient regarding the price of Benjamin Šeško. And that is why they recently came out to say, for a big club, gentleman's agreement, 60 million pounds plus add-ons, which leading approximately 70 million euros to 10 plus on. I hope this really makes sense, people. Again, I'm going to reiterate Fabrizio Romano, what he had to say. That came out yesterday. Oh, and actually it came out 1 hour ago. Benjamin Šeško arrived in Leipzig ahead of key moments for final decision of a new club. That is Benjamin Šeško's agent, Elvis Bosanovic, to deliver the news that he has chosen Manchester United. That is what I've been hearing. But remember, this is the transfer window. Anything could happen. But I'd be damn shocked if Benjamin Šeško doesn't become a Manchester United player. Guys, as per usual, guys, leave your comments below. Please, thank you so much for supporting this channel. YouTube algorithm is not always our friendly friend. A lot of YouTube content creators are struggling at the moment. The like button seems to be the only way YouTube algorithm is promoting videos. They are snubbing you on, super chats, memberships, all that stuff. So if you really like to support this channel, send a super sticker, send a super chat, become a member. It's only 90 cents, but it's not mandatory. I understand the current financial situation in the world. I am not really making money out of this channel. My purpose is to create a great community, and so far we built this great community. We are on a road for 50,000 subscribers since we started this channel 2 years ago. Leave your comment as well if you don't like what I'm saying. I mean, if you want to call me out as a waffler, feel free. I take that as a constructive feedback. I've been in this industry for far too long, so it doesn't really bite on me. At the end of the day, if you have something to say it with more substance. Say it with more expression. Why do you think it's so? Why, instead of he's never going to come to United? Why? Just express yourself a little bit more, because it's so ironic to read comments on the video description or read people's response on Twitter timeline when I post something and say, you're a waffler, you're a clown, you don't nothing. Why? Just follow up with why. I just find it amazing, that people are not really using the common sense and brains anymore. They're just going emotionally, You're waffler. Anyway, I gotta stop waffling if I think I'm waffling, but so far so good for Benjamin Šeško. As I said, a lot of things has been developed. You gotta sort of also give a massive shout out to a disciple that is, asking me a lot of questions. His name is Jesse. He's just started this, but he's been amazing. I'm going to sort of promote Jesse as well, because everyone has started somewhere, but he also getting stick. You know what I mean? He also getting stick, because I've been there as well. Like, I definitely been there. So Jesse is kind of the one I want to sort of also promote. I got to sort of show you, and I urge you to keep following young Jesse as well, because he's doing brilliant news. He asking me constantly good questions. He wants to learn. And I know I've been there myself. So Jesse, if you are looking, this is for you, my friend. This is Jesse's account. Like, go follow Jesse. It is at JS Transfer Time, aspiring journalist with own sources, reliable sources. This is a guy that's starting off, right, guys? So please, he's got 2,863 followers, but please do me a massive favor, follow Jesse. Start listening up, because everyone has been there. Like, I've been in his shoes. And I also got pelters for the Frankie de Jong story, which everyone knows that's been following me. I was closing negotiations and contact with, the Ali Dursun. But everyone knows what happened there. It was the levers. But on the other hand, I was spot on working with Alfredo Pedula regarding the regarding the, Rasmus Højlund to Manchester United, Onana to Manchester United, and also with Junior Pedrosa. We broke the story 1 week before Fabrizio and everyone else regarding, Anthony Dos Santos to Manchester United. So my track record has been there. Sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss, but as per usual, it is not always about being correct. This is the transfer window where things can move very, very quickly. Like, as a reminder, stark reminder, I'm not part of the negotiations of the deals, and some fans think you are, like, you lied, you this, you that, like, no. Anything could happen while you're sleeping or while you're out for dinner. You have to drop your ball. You cannot be 24 hours glued to your phone and always checking up, right? This is not normal, right? It's not normal, and that is what's going on. Like, recruitment never sleep, and so does the transfer window. But I'm simply reporting on current events, and I'm currently cross-checking with the agency, cross-checking with some tier 1 journalist friends that I do know. Hey, have you heard this? Have you heard that? And if it's true, I put it out there. Guys, go do me a massive favor. As per se, go follow Jesse. Jesse, if you are listening, mate, keep going, keep pushing, and don't take haters. Guys, it's been Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV coming you. This is posted live, but I am currently flying in the air. Looking forward for the Manchester-Everton game, and looking forward for the further development. Bid imminent coming in from Manchester United, according also to Fabrizio Romano, as Šeško agents is there with RB Leipzig to discuss. Would it be that he is saying Šeško has chosen Manchester United, he only wants Manchester United, and it will be here we go. Do me a massive favor, like and subscribe. And that's about it from my end. Glory, Manchester United. Keep cool and calm, and enjoy the game later on tonight. This has been Mick Ruby, Mufc Realist TV. Said it.